Ball's in my court now, so how do I counter? Emma's argument basically goes as follows. David ingested Delta? Yes. So the quick save, what's the quick save? The quick save saved, yes, okay. I'm gonna make another save here. Now. I'm gonna be saving like crazy now. David ingested the Delta knowing the Delta caused his respiratory failure, and the Delta caused the respiratory failure. He died of respiratory failure, and thus David committed. During blackjack, every piece of information you learn deals you a card. Choose only the questions that are logical and relevant, and only press it if you think a line of questioning is worth continuing. You will go bust and lose credits. Select the press option to see what the follow-up question would be. You can only win blackjack when you reach 21, so don't press further if you're already there. Don't ask the wrong questions. Cross-examination, I need to put a microscope over the weakest parts of the argument and hope that some cracks will appear under pressure. Okay, I'm not rushed for this. Are you sure it was respiratory failure? Are you sure it was ingested? I'm like, dude, I will have the perfect outcome. Delta, we're sure Delta is to blame. Respiratory failure. Other than respiratory failure, well, not really. Damn, that quick? Okay. Okay. Oh, darling, you have no idea what I'm willing to do to succeed. We're gonna be here for a while. Are you sure the Delta is to blame? Well, I have had time to run stimulants, and they do give every indication that it would act as a depressant. Ingestion enough of any depressant and respiratory failure would occur. Okay. Only stimulations? Dude, I'm going to be the worst. I hit the wrong one. I meant to hit the save button and I hit the load button. Okay, so escape. Save the game. Yes. So we're gonna press. You ran stimulations, so you haven't tested Delta on an actual person. No, I haven't. That would be very difficult to do given our extremely limited sample, not to mention highly unethical, of course. But without such a test, you don't exactly know for sure that Delta can cause any of the symptoms you've described. Is there a question in that statement, counselor? You don't actually know for sure, do you? No, not yet anyway. Okay, so we got past that part. So I need to save again to know where I am. People who love this game are gonna hate me. Me? I love what I'm doing. We know it was. Are you sure it was ingested? Actually, be about that. Pretty sure? I mean, I could go into detail about all the cavities and I checked, but knowingly ingested. Save. It's gotta just press because nothing else makes sense. But how sure can we be that the subject ingested the Delta knowingly? We can't be sure of that, certainly not just from an autopsy. You said it must have been a liquid, yes? Would it have been a large amount? Depends on the concentration and the delivery. Solution, it could have been just a drop. kind of thing could easily go unnoticed, yes? Call for speculation, Your Honor. Withdrawn. Oh, man, I wanted to jump on her case. It seems like that's blackjack. I love the gambling aspect of it. I'm a cheap motherfucker, so I will constantly play it back. 21 in blackjack. Thank you for your time, Dr. Saito. We all appreciate it. I actually won a little bit, but it doesn't seem like we're still... But it does seem like we're still in the dark about many details regarding Dr. Assure's death. Wouldn't you say? Well, poisoning via the compound we're calling Delta is still the most likely explanation, so there are other explanations for what happened. Defense is calling for speculation, Your Honor. It's not a speculation. When a medical examiner is attempting to explain the cause of death, Your Honor. The witness will answer the question. Well, respiratory failure can be caused by illness. If he had any undiagnosed pneumonia or some other diseases, his respiratory system has weakened. Undiagnosed pneumonia with his level of health care, this is technically possible. I'll take it. I have no more questions for this witness. That felt weak, but I can't be picky when I'm stalling for time. Seeding the doubt wherever I can, however I can, is just all I can manage. She's getting bored. Detective Reyes, you were one of the leads in the investigation in this crime scene. Oh boy! Oh boy, we're gonna have fun. Get to throw toe-to-toe with Reyes again. Yes, ma'am. And did you interview the EMTs who first arrived at the scene? I did. They responded to the emergency signal from the home security console located in the kitchen. What did they find when they arrived on the scene? The victim was unconscious on the floor in his parlor. He was receiving CPR from a witness, the individuals who had called them. They were both airlifted to Gasfield Memorial Hospital, and Dr. Assure was declared dead shortly after arriving. She actually handled herself pretty well on the stand. I expected her to roll her eyes during the swearing in. But when you take into consideration her love for Boot Hill authority, she might be right at home in a courtroom. The very seat of the state's power over the people. The witness met with the deceased about half an hour before he fell ill from 7:30 to 8 p.m. The two of them talked for some time and shared a drink. Shortly after, Dr. Assure became distracted, lightheaded, and eventually non-responsive. During said time period, drinking the same liquor with the witness exhibited no symptoms themselves. None. Through a collaborative effort with Noble Electronics Security Division, we secured the entire building. But we found nothing unusual in any of the food or drink on the premises, including the bottle that the witness and the deceased drank from. So what are your ultimate conclusion after investigating the scene? The whiskey bottle was clean, the witness's drink was clean. Only person who got sick was Dr. Assure, drinking from a cup that he had prepared. So it was our determination that David Assure committing by poisoning himself. She's pretty tight-lipped up there, but I think she slipped up at least once. The police want to claim that they've estimated every other possible, covered every angle, but I know that there are a number of blind spots that they're not willing to admit. Upright cup, David's cup, the poison itself. So we're going to hit every corner of this now. Call went 7:30. Nope, that is essentially incorrect. He was the one who prepared his drinks. That is also correct. And there was no opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something. Also correct. He poisoned himself. This part we can't be sure of. Try if you ask me. But just to be sure, we scanned the kitchen and the basement. And there was no poison anywhere. She slipped up in there and made the claim she can't actually support. point it out, and then I'll go herself, get her, watch herself drug, which should be fun. This is correct. He's the one who prepared the drinks, we know that. There's no opportunity for the witness, we know that. He drank from a cup, he poisoned himself. This one is the one I'm... David's cup. Yes! We don't know if he actually... You can't make the claim, not when the evidence record clearly shows the tests of Dr. Drew's cup were inconclusive. The police can claim that he drank a poisoned cup without first providing that his cup was in fact poisoned. You're talking a lot of sense, lady. Does it resolve, or do you have a response, D.A. Rockford? The testing on the deceased cup has been inconclusive so far, Your Honor. I do not dispute that. Though, I'd be surprised if the defense has any idea how else the poison could have possibly been delivered to Dr. Assure alone. Not at this time, but that's the funny thing about the burden of proof. It's not on the defense, as we're all aware. Right. We all knew that. I definitely knew that. Now, if the people are done bemoaning that pesky innocence until proven guilty issue, perhaps I could begin cross-examination. Fire away, baby. Fire away, baby. Alright, Rhea's testimony is meant to show that David's the only one who could have poisoned himself. She'll be on guard and hard set against helping me, but if I keep her focused on eliminating other possibilities, I could get her to make my point for me before she even realizes what's happening. We knew that. This one could have been poisoned off camera. These two are the best options. So we're gonna go with, could he have been poisoned off camera? Suppose Dr. Assure was poisoned off camera. Possible. I don't know how else it would have been done, but that just goes to show it had to have been the only time. Ooh, I didn't think that would be bad. I didn't save before that either, so I gotta go back through this hubbub here. But I already know. Wait, didn't I save right at... the beginning of her testimony? Yes. Met with the witness. Heard the drinks. It's right here. He drank the cup, he poisoned with this. And then David's cup. Time, yes. And now I'm going to save again over this because I don't need to retread. And then, does it resolve, or do you have a response, DA? Yeah, we need to get to the part where I play blackjack now. Fire away, baby. We're gonna save at the blackjack. Now I already know what not to answer with. Ever seen poisoning himself? Is there any photographic evidence showing David Assure adding anything to his drink that night? Now, this helps me. Seems he had already poured for the both of them by the time he'd returned to the parlor. He had already poured. In that case, the next question needs to be when or what? Anyone else in the building? Could he have been poisoned off camera? Was there any poison in the kitchen? Detective Reyes, during the courts, did you find any sample of Delta in the kitchen or parlor? No. That was a fast answer. Well, it was a pretty easy question. If we had found poison at the scene of the crime, that'd be pretty important, don't you think? What about in his lab, or his bedroom, or his basement? No, and no. We didn't find any Delta or any other unusual substance in any part of the penthouse. Right. They never found any poison. No poison at all. Press. What about the poisoned container? Ooh, is this about to test if I know when to stay or not? That just makes the most sense. At any point in the investigation, was poison found on the body of the deceased? No. He must have been searched. Did he have any capsule or vials, eyedroppers? Didn't even have his wallet on him. Why? So... the only person who saw on the cameras that night was Dr. Schur and the witness, correct? Yeah, there was no footage of the house anywhere else. Are there any other parts of the house that aren't recorded by camera? Sure. There are a number of rooms in the home interior that don't have cameras in them. So it's possible that there are other people there that night because cameras weren't watching every room. Not that... no, that's not possible. The only way up to the penthouse is through the building elevator or the fire escape upstairs, both of which are on camera. This still wouldn't get you past the front door, which is also on camera. No one besides the two of them were there that day. Before that day. I mean, I already got 21. Yeah, because if I go any further, I'm going to bust. Stay. Thank you for enlightening the court about this point, Detective. What point? Well, I think it's strange, don't you, Detective? I mean, how could it have possibly poisoned himself without the first procuring some poison? Blackjack. Once again, I win. That time I did less scum saving and more just preparing myself to scum save. What do you mean, prosecutor? Where did it come from, Detective? The poison that you're so sure was dissolved in his drink. It can't have come from thin air. You understand, it had to have been in another container at some point. Whatever it was in before, it's probably evaporated. All of it? It only took a small drop to kill. Your Honor, are you going to ask them to keep it civil? In a minute, sure. There wasn't any pill bottle in his bathroom or syringe in his pocket containing this apparently deadly substance. So how did he get it, and what did he keep it in? The police want to claim that Dr. Schur committed because they've established that his guests never had an opportunity to kill him. But they failed to prove that the victim had the means to kill himself. Then I guess I'll be the one to move things along. The Delta didn't come out of thin air, Counselor. And it didn't come from a syringe either. Dr. Schur was able to drip the poison right into his cup, straight from the source. That was way too specific to be a bluff. Allow me to submit the evidence. It's G. Aha! Nanofactor. Oh, I know this one. Here's a delicate scientific work procedure. Nanomachines. It's the same machine I saw when Dawes gave me tour of the floor. Very good, Your Honor. Laboratory Dr. Schur was well acquainted with its use. As a matter of fact, he had a number of pressing code into it. Even the android can see where this is going. Taps, he could produce any number of specific substances from his research. Any other chemical his heart desired, really. You think Rockford Mechanics would allow their product to be used to produce illicit chemicals? Using the nanofactor to make unlisted drugs, does one go against their terms and conditions? So Dr. Schur warranty is clearly null and void. But they can hard code their machines to prevent the production of a drug that hasn't been invented yet. That's His respiratory system failed because of a depressant overdose. For him, it would have been a peaceful, like falling asleep. You see, he didn't need to commission the synthetic drug from some street vendor or any exotic poison. He could produce Delta at any time, in the comfort of his own home. Damn, she tore me apart. Specifically, preset 19. Damn. I actually had something for a minute. Machine capable of assessing organic material. It's death. There, but I was playing with Emma's hand the entire time. Someone else being there would have been a viable option. Shit. Witness, Your Honor. Ma'am. Yvonne, perhaps we should take a moment and put together a timeline of events, shall we? Not for me, of course, just in case someone might else need it. Simple enough. So Dr. Sure left the parlor, went down to... Is this being timed? It's PM. He got the whiskey. Cup was drank. Camera show him returning to the parlor. He drank witness 40. And of course, we know David's... You're missing something. Of course, we know that he fell ill past shortly after there. Jackson Silver Counselor? With the timeline. She didn't make him stay with him. She has the timeline correct so far. She didn't make a mistake with the timeline, actually. Seems me like you might have gotten ahead of yourself. Really, how's that? Damn it. I thought I had that. Because she just skipped it. Not at this time, no. Timeline has been described as accurate as we know it. Bashir would have easily dispensed poison by placing it inside the nanofactory, waiting 2 minutes. Easily accommodates for his time. Wouldn't you say? Timeline of events. He had the means, he had the opportunity. Seems like we're about ready to wrap up here, no? Loading bar of yours, Sarah. Don't ya? I had a feeling you'd say that. Well, counselor, are we done here? Damn it, I don't... I'm gonna have to go back, obviously, and change my raise. Right here. Namely, motive. Oh, right, I knew that. Oh, thank God. Fishing early or anything. This is a preliminary hearing, counselor. Should be on evidence, so... Just feels like an awful waste of taxpayers' dollars to get us all down here to debate on not to get to the truth of the matter. Twitch? No, thank you. Randomly opening some random thing. Truth of the matter, you know. So, I was hoping we hadn't to go through the next... We wouldn't have to go through the next part. What are we talking about? Your Honor, if it pleases the court. New evidence? Give me! This is a recording of the phone conversation dated at 6:30 p.m. last night between the deceased and a man he was in a relationship with. A man named Isaac Porter. Porter and David's breakup call. If Emma wants to present it here, now, then the contents must be relevant, Your Honor. What's the bearing does this recording have on the case at hand? It established what emotional state the deceased was in on the day he died. Cool. Begin the playback. Hello. Always so soft-spoken. Behave is not the... Isaac, you there? Yeah, I'm here. What's wrong? Don't know. Guess I wasn't expecting you to pick up. Why not? Did you mean to call me? Yeah, I did. You gotta ask me how I've been. Yeah, how have you been? Christ, David. What's the matter? Whatever it is, whatever I did, I'm sorry. Whatever you did, that's alright, man. I'm sure you are sorry. I just don't want any more apologies from you. I'm sorry? Okay. And I don't think I want anything from you anymore, David. What do you mean? I shouldn't have done this. This was unnecessary. My bad, man, for not taking the hints with you. It's always better left unsaid, right? More efficient that way so you can keep working. Isaac, if I've been distanced with you or something, or nah, you haven't been distanced with me, or cold with me, or anything with me for a while now. Isaac, just forget it, man. Forget I called. Forget it all, yeah? Let's just forget we were ever anything but strangers. That's all we are now anyway. Isaac, recently I've been distracted, I know. No, don't worry about it. Really, we're good. Oh, okay. So did you need anything, or should I? Where did you even get this? All of Dr. Schur's incoming and outgoing phone calls were recorded by the building's penumbra system, and the recording continued for several seconds after each call was ended for equal assurance. Remind me to check the terms and conditions on my phone bill next time. Recorded phone call. Shall we hear the rest? Gotta be the last time I let someone... The last time. Father. It might just be a call, but it makes it pretty damning evidence at the point of its discussion. Emma's got her means, opportunity, motive all lined up. Why is she looking at me like that? That was depressing. Can we finish up without anything else, Your Honor? Emma's never been apologetic in victory. So does this mean this is just pity? Less than 2 hours before Dr. Schur died, Isaac Porter ended their relationship over the phone. The court can make a reasonable assumption about what kind of mental state Dr. Schur was in last night. It was a bad move. That was a bad move, Miss Rockford. Then, if the people have nothing further to add, I've been feeling off my game all day, caught between corporate and breeders and an anti-brained protester but pitying me here and now. That's all it takes to get my blood properly boiling. Time for me to call my first witness. No? You want to keep going after that? What are you doing, counselor? Just calling the ultimate silver bullet rock solid slam dunk witness a girl could ask for. Is here good? Does it? Oh my god, I called Jess. Oh, what am I thinking? Jess. Miss Starling, thank you for coming here today. Of course, whatever I could do. What is your relationship with the deceased? I was his executive assistant at Noble Electronics. I would arrange his meetings, coordinate his communications between him and other departments. That sort of thing. Ultimate silver bullets. Starling's the only play I have right now, the only stalling tool I have left. For now, I should just focus on getting as much information from her as possible. Whether or not it's useful, it'll at least buy me some time. While Jess was being sworn in, Sarah mentioned that the hard drive was about 60% decrypted. Considering the rate of Sarah's gone so far, there may be another hour left. I might be able to stall that long if I talk real slow. I have a feeling someone's gonna try to rush me. I'd like to ask a few questions about Dr. Schur. Please answer them to the best of your ability. Right. Dr. Schur was a well-known public figure, but was he well regarded professionally? Of course! Dr. Sherwork set the bar for the entire automated department world. Stay focused, Spearmint. You say you coordinated his communications. Were there ever threats? Did people ever express any intent to harm him? Objection, call for speculation. Intent. I'm feeling like that's gonna be a sustained. Ever threaten him? There were times when he was the focus of negative attention. How so? Dr. Sher was favorite subject of many conspiracy theories. With all the contributions in the field, he was easy for them to make claims about his influence. They say that his work was plagiarized or that he had hidden illegal subcommands in the technology he helped develop. And people would contact him about these conspiracy theories. Relevance? Whether or not people wanted to him? Well, withdrawn. Miss Starling? People would attempt to contact him, yes, but their messages were always too vague for the police to take action on. They would say things like belong in jail, or that he couldn't avoid the truth, or that someone should do something to shut him up. They ever talk about hurting him? Yes, but I always turned those messages straight over to the police. Yeah, I seen that on the record. Yeesh. Who writes this stuff? All those cases have long since been resolved, Your Honor, and none of the parties involved had ever had contact with David Asher in years. The police take harassment very seriously. Something you want to add, Counselor? Just clearing my throat. Testified that David Asher had experienced harassment and stalking from conspiracy theories throughout his career in Noble. That actually is useful to know. Just clearing my throat. May I continue? That was as she's learned from working with Pete with them in the past. You worked with Dr. Asher for many years. Did you have a relationship outside of work? Did you ever talk about anything besides professional concerns? We sure we'd gone out to dinner or met on the weekends. I think he liked to pick my brain since he needed relationship advice a lot. Even if he didn't realize that's what he was asking for. I'd like to think that he knew he could talk to me, but did he ever talk to you or, to your knowledge, anyone else about hurting himself? God, no, never. Do you know of any history he might have had with mental illness, depression, or anxiety? No. So when you heard that people argued that Dr. Asher had done this to himself, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. You're saying that you can't believe it? Objection? On what grounds? Asked. Answered, stalling, and also the people have documented that it would be of interest to the court in this matter. Juicy, and what matter specifically are you referring to? Deceased's mental history? Emma wouldn't be speaking up if she didn't have something real, so what the hell is this about? God damn it, everything was going so swimmingly. Emma. We have private correspondence that describe, if they're private, then they should not have been obtained by the people without his permission. He can't give permission if he's already dead, and we're well within our right to obtain evidence as it pertains to his crime. Convincing. Damn, I didn't honestly expect to stop her from admitting her evidence into the record, but I was hoping to at least slow her. Where are you on that footage? 77%, approximately. I need to buy whatever time I can, however I can, even if it means running on the clock as a punching bag. I have here messages between David Asher and the psychiatrist he was meeting with and speaking for the past year, along with paperwork detailing that he was covered under his platinum plan. Right. Sure, used this. It's interesting that this is gonna go past 1 day probably. Long platinum. I don't intend to air all of David Asher's secrets here in the court. Okay, I guess. Read excerpts from the messages, transcribed phone calls, which, when put together, paints a clear picture of the kind of stress David Assure was experiencing. All the dark thoughts he was struggling with, transcripts of his phone calls, into evidence assuring that there are no objections. I'm going to have to do it just to run the clock down, aren't I? Strange about this evidence. Is there anything strange about this evidence? Foundation, where did you say you got this? It was retrieved from digital records. There's no reason to doubt the authenticity. Even if I were to point out that David had executive level 4 plan, not a platinum plan. What? Really? Really? Yes, really. It's all there in the records. This is easily explained. Kept executive plan, not the Noble managed. Noble managed for him, and he also seen the psychiatrist both in person and over the phone. Had attested that he dealt with stalkers and was worried of privacy, so it's easy enough to reason that he had a separate insurance policy he paid for on his own, even if to keep one thing in Noble's grasp. Sure, easy enough to make the assumption, but that doesn't make it correct. David used a separate insurance to hide his psychiatrist from Noble's spying? No, he was smarter than that. But yeah, all building calls are recorded and monitored, you idiot. I mean, just in case. David may very well have wanted a private psychiatrist, someone who didn't work for Noble, who he'd have best interests at heart. But if so, he wouldn't have contacted them over the phone, not even if he knew all his phone calls were being recorded. David Assure was well versed in having every aspect of his life overanalyzed by data-hungry parasites. Do you really think he would have tried to hide mental health problems from them with a second insurance policy? Apparently, yes, since I'm standing here with evidence that shows exactly that. Does it, though? Pardon me? Yeah, like, what exactly are you suggesting, Counselor? It's still not done decrypting. Well, it's difficult to... Right. What the hell? Might as well swing for the fences at this point. I'm not trying to muddle the issue or confuse the court, Your Honor. And I would never make an outlandish, unsubstantiated claim just for the sake of causing drama. What are you? I'm merely concerned that the DA Rockford has been unwittingly pawned in an act of corporate espionage. What? If the markets were to open Monday with people believing that David Assure, the man who programmed the brain of every Noble android, was battling mental health issues for the last several months, objections, mischaracterization, foundation, all the rest. There are no corporate spies in the courtroom, Counselor, and there are no boogeymen hiding under the bench. Oh, thank God. David Assure was once in a generation intelligence and an extremely valuable human asset to his employers. And his employers have many enemies, would do whatever it takes to destroy his credibility now that he can't defend himself. And he was also your personal... You shouldn't even be here arguing the case in the first place, Counselor, and now you're trying to call the police's evidence gathering into question, all because you can't admit that the past several months your friend has been seeking psychiatric for every Monday you didn't know. That is, sorry, but, like, did you still need me here? Witnesses refrain from interrupting when girls are fighting. Yes, ma'am. How much luck's been so far? Sarah's progress bar is probably moving backwards right about now. Emma's patience is wearing thin. This could be my last shot to create any kind of reasonable doubt. I'd be happy to wrap up my question in court if the court would allow. That seems cool with me. My evidence, Your Honor, will it be entered into the records? I'd like to hear a bit more testimony before deciding. That's fine, Your Honor. Saying, Counselor, this stage of the game, with the score here, I can't... Oh my God, you're gonna time me right now? Right now, you're gonna put me under more pressure. I can probably only ask one more question. Better make it count. So what can Starling tell us that no one else could? If she hadn't called me this morning, I wouldn't be standing here, and she only did that because... Miss Starling, you were all gathered here trying to figure out what happened to Dr. Assured last night. Tell us, when exactly did you last... She met him. Last time that he and you... Problem, Counselor? Can't waste it in frivolous questions. Doing a vocal exercise, and take your time. Thank you so much. So that was wrong. Contact you. Contact with Mr. Assure, Miss Starling. Well, it was pretty easy to figure out. Let me just... Yeah, it was last night around 6:57 p.m. We texted back and forth. There are recordings of some texts, but they're flagged as work-related. Does the court really think they're relevant, Your Honor? Relevant? Text makes a big difference. Yes, it makes a big difference. Will be the single most important piece of evidence in this whole trial. What? Just got chills. Do you know why, though? Must be coolant leak in the defense doesn't know what they're talking about. On the contrary. Text message from David Assure to Jessica Starling. Last night, David asked her to set up a meeting between the two of them and Emma Warren on Tuesday to handle the transfer of ownership of Sarah the android. These texts are vital pieces of evidence that change the timeline of events as we know them. We know what happened to David last night, generally speaking, but the order of events is critical, especially if Emma wants to make claims about David's state of mind. Cards in your hand into slots in the chronological order. You can pick up cards back up and place them in other slots if you mind changing, or use the return to undo the last card you placed. Fill all slots to submit your answer, and no time limit. Starling's text. So the call happened first. Then the text. Testimony, and then David passed out. Wait. Damn it, I meant to amp the ante. Thanks for Miss Starling, we now got a much clearer picture of the night's events. We know that Isaac Porter and David Assure broke up at 6:30 p.m., and I was rooting for them so hard. And we know that David's message, his assistance, runs from 6:57 p.m. David is on camera with the witness from 7:30 to 8 p.m. And he was declared dead not long after. The people don't object to the timeline of events. But we do question Counselor Morgan's reason for deliberating it. One last question, Miss Starling. Yeah? What was the nature of your conversation with Mr. David Assure? Well, actually, we talked about you. And how he wanted you to have his android. That android there. Putting his affairs in order. I guess. It might appear that way. Can you specify what his instructions were exactly? How did he want this done? Well, he wanted me to bring you to his penthouse and help you get set up as the android's new owner. Yes, Miss Darling, but when did he want this to happen? Well, he said it was pretty urgent, and so I should do it first thing Tuesday morning. Tuesday? First thing Tuesday morning? David assured didn't like doing anything on Mondays. And wasn't he going to be in attendance? Well, actually, yes, he said he would work from home to help us. No way he intended for us to have that much trouble getting to... Oh. To summarize then, half an hour after he had already had his breakup and half an hour before his guest had arrived, he was planning an appointment that would require his presence with you for next Tuesday. That's right, he was. Not something you would think to do if you were planning on dying the very night. Yeah, you're right. That's... Your Honor, if David Assure was preparing for the week ahead a mere hour before he passed away, don't you think that people's assumptions about his mental state ought to be re-examined? Your logic is sound. Do the people have a rebuttal? If the court will just allow a moment, sounds like an opening to me, for assuming that Dr. Assure was not loony, and therefore did not himself. We must then ask ourselves who else had the means, motive, and opportunity to take his life. Until now, we've taken and granted this idea that the Delta must have come from his nanofactor from inside the house. Adonia? Not right now. But even if that's true, which it may not be, that doesn't mean that he was the one who used the nanofactor. Adonia! Would you allow me one moment? Confer your honor? Sure, why not throw away your momentum? I'm in the middle of something. Can I afford to let Rockford... I've gained access to the hard drive files. What? Seriously? As I said, progress with this type of encryption is exponential. It can be difficult to estimate. Right, okay. Do you have any footage from last night? I have the file. Have you watched it? I thought you'd want to know right away. Suppose it doesn't matter. Either this has our silver bullet, or we got a case. Or it doesn't, and everything falls apart. Seems quite risky. It's the least risky path to victory we have. Seeing how this is only a path to victory we have. Screw it. We're about to see something insane, aren't we? Like, absolutely, like, she did it? Yes, Adonia. Thank you for your patience, Your Honor. Your Honor? I'm awake, and I'm getting a pretty hefty chunk of video data for breakfast. You're submitting security footage and evidence, new security footage? The police corroborated the witness testimony using the house security cameras installed by Noble as part of the penumbra system that showed the parlor and the kitchen, but not the basement. During the course of my investigation, I uncovered a hidden security circuit buried in the deceased's own home system. You what? The people say that Delta must have been in Dr. Assure's cup because there's no other way for him to have ingested it. But we never saw him or anyone else put anything in his cup on camera because he must have poisoned his own drink off camera. Exactly. What? That's the only possible explanation, that he had added the Delta to his drink off camera. He placed his cup inside the nanofactor, activated it, and waited 2 minutes, and then walked upstairs to his death. But I'm about to present the court footage retrieving from his basement. Footage that will show that by the time he retrieved the cup from the basement, it was already past 7:38, meaning he didn't have the opportunity to poison himself. Footage will prove all that. If it doesn't, I'm completely screwed. But it's not like I can lose a preliminary hearing extra hard. Anything other than a royal flush here means I'm bust. So better to be the Joker who dances. Data has been entered into the courtroom records. Sarah, show us when Dr. Assured entered the basement. She's about to hardball me. Girl, don't hardball me. Yes, I don't know. I'll search for it now. Here. On screen. And the timestamp is 7:36. David grabbed the bottle of Roseward and leaving. 7:37, just under the wire as it were. Just to wait. Did he have the cups with him? Is there sound? None at all. Keep going. If I had to go back to... If he had to go back to get the cups. Counselor. What's that android doing on camera? Morgan, is that the bar? No. Cups? Shit. Never stepped on camera upstairs, not once. We didn't know its whereabouts the day of his death. It could have poisoned the cups whenever it wanted. What is this? I don't understand. Understood. Please, someone. I don't know what's going on. Sarah, you need to shut down. Please tell me what I'm looking at. I don't remember any of that. Do we have callers available? Sarah, shut down now. Please tell me what I'm... That's an order.